There once was a girl of New York, whose body was lighter than cork. She had to be fed for 6 weeks upon lead before she went out for a walk. There was a young lady whose dream was to feed a black cat on whipped cream, but the first cat she found spilled the cream on the ground, and she fed a whipped cat on black cream. There was an old man of Tobago, who lived on rice, gruel, and sago, till much to his bliss his physician said this, "To a leg, sir, of mutton you may go." There was an old fellow called Gandy, who went to the pub for a shandy. With his great loincloth he whipped off the froth, and the barman said, "Blimey, that's handy." There was a young man from Berlin, who was so excessively thin that when he was made to drink lemonade, he slipped through the straw and fell in. There was an old man from Antigua, whose wife said, "My dear, what a pig you are." He replied, "Oh, my queen, is it manners you mean, or do you refer to my figure?" There was a young maid who said, "Why can't I look in my ear with my eye? If I put my mind to it, I'm sure I can do it. You never can tell till you try." A lady from Chippenham, Wilts, once walked up to Scotland on stilts. When they said, "Oh, how shocking to show so much stocking," she answered, "Well, how about kilts?" Said a bad little youngster named Beecham, "Those jelly tarts, how shall I reach them? To my parents I'd go, but they always say no, no matter how much I beseech them." The Sultan, annoyed with his harem, invented a scheme for to scare him. He caught him a mouse, which he loosed in the house. The confusion was called harum-scarum. A tutor who tooted the flute tried to teach 2 young fluters to toot. Said the two to the tutor, "Is it harder to toot or to tutor 2 fluters to toot?" A canner, exceedingly canny, one morning remarked to his granny, "A canner can anything that he can, but a canner can't can a can he?" There was a young lady of Niger, who smiled as she rode on a tiger. They returned from the ride with the lady inside and the smile on the face of the tiger. There was a young man of St. Kitts, who was very much troubled with fits. The eclipse of the moon threw him into a swoon, when he tumbled and broke into bits. There was a young person named Ned, who dined before going to bed, on lobster and ham and salad and jam, and when he awoke he was dead. There once was a pious young priest, who lived almost wholly on yeast, for, he said, "It is plain we must all rise again, and I want to get started at least." To his wife said a person named Brown, "My dear, there's a caller from town." "Wait," she cried in distress, "till I slip on a dress." But she slipped on the stairs and came down. There was a young lady whose eyes were unique as to color and size. When she opened them wide, people all turned aside and started away in surprise. There was a young woman named Florence, who for kissing professed great abhorrence, but when she'd been kissed and found what she'd missed, she cried till the tears came in torrents. There was a young person called Kate, who sat on the stairs very late. When asked how she fared, she said she was scared, but was otherwise doing first rate. There once was a man from Nantucket, who kept all his cash in a bucket, but his daughter named Nan ran away with a man, and alas for the bucket, Nantucket. There was a young girl from New York, whose pa made a fortune in pork. He bought for his daughter a tutor who taught her to balance green peas on her fork. There was a young man so benighted, he never knew when he was slighted. He would go to a party and eat just as hearty as if he'd been really invited.